Good morning, guys. Good morning. Welcome to Island Tea right here on Win Media SKN. It's Friday. It's Friday, guys. We have come to Friday. Getting ready to pop off the weekend. And really looking forward to what this weekend holds in store. This is gonna be a busy one for me now that I'm looking at it. Was looking through my schedule. And it does seem like there's a lot happening. So whatever you guys get into, hopefully you guys have a great time. But it's November 11th, and I'm your fave, Azem. Usually joined by Jade, Gwen, who won't be coming in this morning. I'm not feeling 100%. It does seem like there's something going around. I'm hearing a lot of people speaking about that. Is it allergy season? Do we even have an allergy season here in St. Kitts? Somebody who is well versed in allergens and allergies, let me know. But I've had several friends complain about sinuses, stuffiness. Is it the flu going around? We're back to flus again now that we start wearing masks. That's what's happening. When we were wearing masks, but you couldn't as much as get a sniffle. You couldn't as much as get a sniffle during COVID time. But yeah, those things are long past, and I guess it's one of those trade-offs you make. You know, don't wear a mask. You know, don't sanitize, and yeah. Yesterday I started off talking about COVID. Definitely not the plan. But that's kind of where we went. And this morning, I'm here thinking about it. I've said it before. There are some things that came up during COVID that I think we need to adopt. I like the idea of being able to sanitize before going to a supermarket where it sells food or a restaurant. I am all for that. As a matter of fact, just like we were able to stipulate those things, I think we need to stipulate it moving forward. You know, that certain entities, I mean, if you go into the hardware store, maybe not so much. But if you go into the supermarket, I think we all should want to sanitize when we're going into the supermarket. COVID kind of put us in that habit, and it's to a point now where I walk in and I still go and sanitize. Well, I could say try, because some places you go to, the dispenser is there. There's just nothing in it to dispense. Up to yesterday, I went into a business place. I walked up to one dispenser, empty. Walked to the other one, empty. There were 3 dispensers that I could see while standing in the doorway. I went to all 3 dispensers, and none of them had any sanitizer. Had any sanitizer in it. And the lady who is the receptionist, she watched me and said, "Mr. COVID done, you know." I said, "Yeah, COVID done, but that don't mean germs gone." So yeah, I like to sanitize. But yeah, big up to the people out there heading out to work still. Those of you who already know that once lunch hit, your weekend start. That's between you and your employer. I ain't getting between that. I said to somebody a few days ago, what are you doing for the weekend? The person said, by once Thursday morning come. I said, yeah, starting the weekend earlier and earlier. Earlier and earlier they're starting this weekend thing. I said, y'all really don't want to work. Y'all really don't want to work. But like for me, the weekend kind of signals a change in pace. Definitely not a slowdown. This weekend is no exception. There's a lot of stuff, like I said earlier, happening. So I'm looking forward to kind of jumping into what I have going on. Last weekend we had the rainy weekend, about, I would say, 4 days, where it was a bit overcast. from the Friday to really to the Monday. That does not seem to be the forecast this weekend when I checked it. But last week, I implored you guys to be safe, and for the most part, that seems to have been the case. I really didn't hear too much about serious accidents, for instance, or incidents. So I'm thankful for that. Now, usually on Friday, you guys know we do the Cross Caribbean Link Up. Well, that is something that we are presently reformulating. So we won't be doing that today. I could hear all the and all the oohs and all the wahs. But yeah, work with us. Oh boy. Somebody on the live is telling me they look forward to the weekends to just relax and sleep in. That, my dear, is a feeling like no other. When you know that Saturday morning you can just sleep in. Kind of some Saturday mornings you got to get up, whether you're going to the market, whether you're going to, wherever. But that feeling when you go to bed at night, you don't have to rush to wake up in the morning. This is lovely. Now, for those of us who have very strict sleeping habits, where no matter what is going on, you wake up at 6 o'clock, it's maybe not as nice. Those who wake up because of an alarm, sorry. Of course, they might feel it a bit more, but even so, when you wake up at your 6 and I don't have to rush, I can just lay back and go back to sleep, that's a good feeling. Someone is also saying, I hope they still have sanitizers at the hospital because COVID is still around. And that's the thing when I speak about places where they should just have sanitizer. I don't think it's even a matter of just because COVID is still around, which definitely is a strong case for why we should still have sanitizers. But just in the interest of cleanliness and hygiene, sanitizers seem to me like a good idea. So, one place, so maybe now the question is, why wasn't sanitizers at the hospital prior to COVID? But yeah, I think hopefully you still sanitize as you enter, and are given the opportunity to sanitize as you leave the hospital. I'm hoping that is the case. Have they? Oh, nice. So somebody saying, yes, they do at JNF, and you are required to wear masks. Still those Really? I went to the hospital not too long ago and I didn't wear a mask. But then again, it wasn't peak time, so maybe I slipped. Maybe I was the one who slipped through the cracks. But no, I went several times over the last, let's say, 8 months, and even one time during the day, like at 11 o'clock, and no one told me I had to wear a mask. So maybe some people drop it, or maybe they just figure my beard acts as a makeshift mask. So when you get to the wards, someone is saying that I should try visiting someone on the wards. Okay. Well, I get that. So, friend Reshawn, thank you for the update. But yeah, I think that's a good idea. I think that you go into a health facility where there are people who may have compromised immune systems, the chance of running into somebody who either has something contagious or is susceptible to infection, germs, that kind of thing. I think that probability goes up at the hospital. So yeah, having people continue to wear masks, and what I think we need to do too, if that is the case, I think the hospital should look into getting some mask dispensers. Everybody might not have a mask. They might be at sale at the little gift area there. But yeah. Hey, speaking of JNF, there was a, what do you call it, man? A project a few years ago. When I say a few years, I'm really talking maybe 6 years ago. Maybe 6 years ago, 7 years maybe. That I was trying to get off the ground. What happened was I had several friends and including some family members who were warded at the JNF hospital over the course of a few months. So I found myself having to go and visit, loved ones there. Thankfully, nothing too serious. But one thing I recognized about the place was a lack of, let's say, things to do. Right? Let's just say things to do. So there were two things that I felt, and this was after I'd come back from the US. I would have had to go to hospitals in the US, whether for personal like treatment, or to visit someone. And one of the things that I think could improve there was just the aesthetics, one, and also just access to books. So the idea was to call on the talents of local artisans and artists to put together works that could, be on display at the hospital and kind of just lift the place a bit, I guess. It didn't happen because at around the time when I was trying to organize it, I got a job that took me out of the island for quite some time. I think at that time I was barely on the island. I'd come home for like maybe a week or two and be gone again for several weeks, some cases up to a month, and even longer. So it kind of fell by the wayside. Y'all think that it's something that we could pick back up? I think that's something that we could pick back up. So yeah, now that we're talking about JNF and thing, and this is the thing I keep talking about in terms of we see things that need to be done sometimes. Sometimes we need to do it. And always we got to go, the government need to do this, the government need to do that, particularly in communities. I talk about this all the time with communities. I think communities need to come together sometimes to implement some of the things that they need or want to see in the community. Self-organize and draw on resources in and around the community. But yeah, so let's look out for that. Maybe I would include Jade into this and the sippers, where we do maybe a book drive. I'll tell you guys what. This is what I'll do. I'll reach out to the hospital administration and get back to y'all. So look out for that next week, where we figure out what we're doing in terms of perhaps a book drive, where if you have any books that you would love to share with someone else, and then maybe we could identify local painters and artists, even artisans. It doesn't have to be just painting, but local artisans that we could call on their talents to help beautify the JNF. If you guys think that's a good idea, let me know. And then we could Island Tea and the sippers, we could make it happen. Because I'm on the live is saying the display of antiques at the entrance is not too attractive. Well, we have spoken about that right here on the show several times. I don't know. Let me put it this way. There's sometimes where someone has a great idea, and then we go and try to execute the idea. But it doesn't seem like that was the case here. What it does what it does feel like is they were cleaning out some part of the hospital, perhaps storage area. And they were like, well, what are we going to do with all these things that no longer in use? And somebody was like, well, we can't just throw them away. That person right there is a hoarder. Let's put it out. That person who made the suggestion, they're hoarding. We need to go and check their house. I think what happened was, to avoid throwing this stuff away, the idea was to repurpose them. Now, I don't have a problem with that sentiment. I don't have a problem with just like, hey, no, we don't want to throw away all these things. But I don't know if that display right there at the entrance was the best way. Or perhaps what needs to happen is it needs to be curated differently. Let's put it that way. Okay, see, somebody has a similar idea. Somebody saying the display has a nice idea behind it, but I think it could be done differently. Should be neater with proper layouts, etc. Yes, I think that's what it is. I don't have a problem with the repurposing of the equipment once used at the hospital, but it does feel a bit like it was a bit of an afterthought. It was like, okay, we want to throw these away. We got an area down there where we don't just kind of put them out. Instead of really recognizing, hey, we need to employ either a team of that consists of maybe it could be an architect, perhaps a carpenter, perhaps a interior designer, right? And probably some sort of maybe a sculptor, someone who understands how to utilize space and present things. Maybe that might be another thing that we could yeah. I have heard people on several occasions just be like, what is this? Someone is saying they should be labeled. Yeah, I think the display needs to be curated and presented in a proper way. Someone is also saying plants are nice also. They help to build the ambience. Not only build the ambience, but certain plants actually purify the air. So that might be a good idea. But the problem with plants, and I can tell you all this, plants need care. Plants need care. And the problem is, if it ain't somebody's specific job to daily take care of this or that plant, well, we know what's gonna happen. We know what we ain't even got to go no further. Y'all know what's gonna happen. So you guys look forward. I'll try and bring back that idea. We could make it a whole island tea thing. Wait. Yeah, make it a whole island tea thing, and we'd love to get the sippers involved, and reach out to perhaps even some of our past guests to be a part of the whole thing. I think it's time we bring back that idea. But of course, we have to talk to the powers that be at the hospital. So before we just jump on with high horse and decide we're doing this and we're doing that, yeah, we'll reach out and see how we could make that happen. Hopefully somebody at the hospital listening in the administration, so they know to expect a call. Or they could call me if that's something that they think would add value to what they do there at the hospital. Somebody says happy Friday and best day of the year. I am going to assume what that means is today is Witty Kitty's birthday. Witty, if today is your birthday, please let us know in the comments so we could act like we don't have sense, because you are a big day one sipper. So let us know if that is the case. But guys, yeah, why we don't get into some articles and talk about some stuff that's happening in and around our community. That was that I said? I used to say that? So I tell y'all that my phone doing all sorts of weird things. And it getting very annoying lately, boy. Very annoying. And it's funny, I had this conversation, and I said, You know how it is when you get a little cut on one of your fingertips, perhaps your thumb? How much that little thing impacts your life. It's something that you don't really think about regularly. But then, you know, something like that happens and it just like, oh. It feels almost like that. It feels almost like that when like your phone isn't working the way it's supposed to work. And so it's almost like your phone or whatever device has become a part of you. It's like an extension, like like a mechanical enhancement, right? A mechanical enhancement of your eyes with the camera, a mechanical enhancement of your brain with Google. So, yeah, the role that these devices play in our lives is pretty intense. Because right now we're trying to get access to, and I don't know why it's not up because I had it up earlier, to get access to the run sheet that has all the articles that we were going to discuss today. But yeah, but it's actually 8:30. Really, we're supposed to be taking ads, eh? We're supposed to be taking breaks. And sometimes the conversation just gets so good that we just forget, and we just have to beg pardon to the powers that be. So before I have to beg pardon today, we're actually going to take a short break and be right back with more Island Tea right here on Win Media SKN. Guys, stick and stay.
Horsford's Value Mart IGA Value Club Blue Tag Specials running November 3rd through 16th. Nabisco Oreo family size cookies $19.99. Ocean Spread Craisins $7.99. Chobani Greek yogurt $5.69. Bagel Bites $11.49. Essential Everyday Fries $13.99. Downy Fabric Softener April Fresh $23.99. And now our very low weekly
value deals. Cheer cereals $17.99. Ocean Spread Juice $11.99. Essential Everyday Shredded and Chunk Cheeses $7.99. Mueller's Pasta $5.99. VO5 Shampoo and Conditioner $4.99. Dawn Dish Detergent $13.99. Shop smart, shop Value Mart. Tell them inspiration.
Sea listo y haga sus compras aquí a
Value Mart.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib, it's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
Hey guys, welcome to Island Tea, right here on Win Media SKN. We are back. Better than ever. And that's better than ever because Jade isn't here and you guys have been keeping me company today. And I appreciate it. I particularly want to shout out Witty Kitty. Anybody who is one of the YouTube regulars knows Witty Kitty. She is a big time sipper. Happy birthday to you. Wishing you all the best. And yeah, anytime you're not here, we don't miss you. So thank you so much for being such a huge supporter, and not only supporter, but you're definitely part of the show now. Witty, so enjoy your day, enjoy the entire weekend, and just go ahead and enjoy the rest of the year. No, just celebrate until December 31st at least. And somebody is talking about daylight savings. We could probably do some birthday savings for you and have you roll over into the new year. Listen, good morning, Mel. Mel is saying that the time change has got her mashup now 2 hours behind us here. And if I remember correctly, Mel, you're in Houston. We do have a big community of Kititians and Divisions right there in Houston. So big up to you guys. I know a few who listen to the show, and yeah, we appreciate you so much. And yeah, I need to come to Houston. I need to maybe do an Island Tea live from Houston. So Mel, we're gonna have to talk. We're gonna figure out how to make that happen. Maybe during the next carnival, NJ would come up. But speaking of daylight savings, I know it's November 1st, if I remember correctly. Yeah, I think it's November 1st that the time change happens. However, there was and I only remember this because when it happened, I had to laugh at the name of the act. But there was an act passed. I don't know if it was actually signed by the president yet, or if they had to go to the Senate or whatever. But there was an act called the Sunshine Protection Act that was intended to do away with the daylight savings. When is that expected to come into effect? And when that comes into effect, will that mean that you'll be just 1 hour behind us now? The idea of daylight savings is interesting. I lived in the US for a few years, guys, and every single time the time changed, I would mess up. It was just something that was so foreign to me, until I ended up just having to set my my phone to be automatic, like the time automatic. Yeah, but I think it was supposed to come into effect 2023. I think that's what it is. So yeah, they did do something. Yeah, but yeah, I would literally either get to work an hour early or get to work. Well, it wouldn't be an hour late, because what would happen is I'd start getting calls. Where are you? Where are you? And then having to rush down. I remember one particular morning I had worked the night before. And it would catch me because I would work at churches on the Sunday. So I think the one in March, at 2 a.m. on Sunday, the time would change. So what would happen is I would literally finish working at around 2 a.m. because that's generally when the clubs close, right? And so I would go home, be so tired, and then would actually lose an hour due to daylight savings and not know it. So, and I used to have to be depending on the week, I'd have to be at the church for 5 a.m. So, it would literally mean, instead of me having, let's say I get home at like 3 o'clock, I would have to get up at maybe, let's say 4:30, 4 o'clock. So I would have maybe an hour to sleep. Really, what should happen is I should just change and go directly to work on the daylight savings, and I would have no idea. All right. So someone is saying that I understand it will be on our state legislature agenda consideration again. Oh, because my understanding was that it was passed, at least to some extent, and this was supposed to be federal, because I know Joe Biden had not signed it as yet. But hey, why I don't know about any sunlight that needs protection. I know we need protection from the sunlight. So hopefully that happens and you could get some stability in your life, because I know it could be really off-putting. Like I said, I've suffered because of it. But yeah, guys, let's jump into some articles on tea time. And this is from winmediaskn.com, and it says, SEDEMA official seeking to enhance national disaster management program in St. Kitts and Nevis. The Caribbean Disaster Management Agency, SEDEMA, is seeking to assist in the enhancement of the National Disaster Management Program in St. Kitts and Nevis. Ms. Elizabeth Riley, the agency's executive director, during a recent visit to the Federation, said her presence was indicative of SEDEMA's intention to help. The intent of my mission is really to deepen my familiarity with the specific disaster risk management issues which are facing St. Kitts and Nevis, and, importantly, to have a conversation around how the SEDEMA Coordinating Unit can better support St. Kitts and Nevis in addressing disaster management issues. The agency, SEDEMA, is a regional organization of the Caribbean Community, CARICOM, and we have 19 participating states, of which St. Kitts and Nevis is one, she said. According to Ms. Riley, the agency's mandate is about supporting member states during times of disaster once a specific request is made to the agency. She added that SEDEMA has a broader resilience building agenda outside of emergency times. We work with a diversity of partners to look at how we can strengthen our ability to withstand the impacts of the hazards that we face, and also to recover from those hazards in the shortest possible time. She says we have just launched the 2020 to 29-27 strategic plan. I think that's a typo, because I don't think they're launching what would that be? 905-year strategic plan. So I want to believe that she meant the person who typed it probably is who made the mistake. The 2022 to 2027 strategic plan for SEDEMA, and we are already in discussion now with countries to understand how we can better support the national level programming, and we talked through a range of areas including search and rescue. We discussed areas for training through the SEDEMA system, and also how SEDEMA can leverage its partnership with other partners around the region to support the program here on Nevis and across the broader federation, she said. Well, I'm happy to hear that we're having these types of discussions and meetings. I think it was me and Jade who were driving one day, and we saw one of the tsunami evacuation. What are those signs? And I think Jade just said, like, as if a tsunami coming, me know what to do. I can probably just roll up and just give up the ghost. And it's so interesting, the job that, and we'll talk about NEMA here in St. Kitts. The job that NEMA has. Yeah. The job that NEMA has, because they cover such a wide range of things, such a wide range of potential disasters. Yeah, potential disasters. And I think it's difficult for them to really get the word out in a way that penetrates every aspect of society. Because I see them, they come here to talk to us about what they're doing. I have friends that work at NEMA. I hear them on other radio stations. I see some of the exercises. But it feels to me as though most of the time when I speak to someone about what's necessary and what needs to be done, they don't always have a real idea of what should happen. So the penetration needs to go up, even though I see the efforts. Even me talking about this, trying to come up with what should happen. I guess what would have to happen is definitely the schools will have to be a big part, and I'm sure they already are. But it's probably gonna come down to being in the schools for sure. That's gonna have to be a big part of it. That's definitely gonna have to be a big part of it, and hopefully persons see what the necessary responses are. One of the other things that was mentioned by the CDMA official was that it's not only about how to prepare and respond for disasters, but also how do we recover in the shortest possible time. I think sometimes that is a part of the equation that we forget. I always talk about places like St. Bart's. I remember when there was Hurricane Maria, I think it was. When it was Hurricane Maria that did damage to St. Bart's. Now St. Bart's is small. And the other thing is they have money, right? There's money floating around there. But things were put back in place so quick, it was ridiculous. I think within like 2 weeks they were pretty much back to normal after that. There's places in St. Martin to this day that haven't been touched. For a hurricane that happened, what was that, like 3 years ago? So I think when we start talking about the preparation responses to natural disasters, of course, the discussion has to be had on what happens after the recovery process, what needs to be put in place, what are the priorities, how do we fund it. Like, these are the type of discussions that I'm happy to hear being had. Hopefully, the information and the plans that come out of these discussions really penetrate the society. As I can tell you something. I sure have heard it before, but just like would have been said, if there, for instance, is a tsunami coming, I don't know what to expect. You know, I remember a few months ago, or maybe it might have been last year, there was a sound that happened one morning, like a horn sound, and nobody knew what it was, and it was this cause for speculation. We heard everything from tsunami warning to the aliens are coming, and it was like, and then it was like, oh no, it was just like a cruise ship or a oil tanker. It was a boat, just blowing the horn or something like that, if I remember correctly. But somebody who's smarter than me, somebody who's listening from Nemo, call me and tell me what's supposed to happen. If there is a impending tsunami, and God forbid that we ever have to exercise this, how does the word get out? Because I think part of it might be the radio, but I don't know if as much as I work on radio and I'm thankful for all the people that listen daily, I don't know if a lot of people listening to the radio all the time to really inform a widespread response to a disaster like that. So I would suspect there might be some other things in place. And one of the issues with things like this is something that we use all the time. So even if I would have heard at some point, which I'm sure I would have heard the answer to my question, because it's something that I generally have to worry about on a daily, weekly, monthly, or even annual basis, I don't forget that information, yeah? I'm here trying to figure out who is the mole on Netflix. I ain't got time to study about what happened when there's a tsunami. So there's going to have to be constant reminders and sensitization about the responses to these things and what we should do as the public. I see the things, and it's the sign that triggered the conversation was the tsunami evacuation route. And I'm like, okay, but I just see the sign, it doesn't say go up here. So there has to be that they sensitized us about what the road is. But I just don't remember, because maybe again, it isn't information that I call on regularly. But I'll have a call on the line. Good morning, caller. You're live on Island T. What's up? Last a caller. Caller, please feel free to call back. I was gonna move on quickly, but since there seems to be somebody who wants to contribute, I'll stick around for a few minutes. Let's see if this is the caller calling back. Good morning, caller. You're live on Island T. What's up?
Yes, good morning. Just want to put in an input there on the tsunami thing you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like what could be done with alarming persons would be like using a broadcast in cell phones. That could help.
Definitely. I like that idea.
And, yeah, broadcast on cell phone. Most persons have cell phone, radio, TV. That should work.
Yeah. I want to believe I might have heard them discuss that even right here on the show, something about having access to that.
Yeah. All right, that's my contribution.
All right, man. I appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
I appreciate it. Yeah, that's a great idea. Like I said, I think it might be something that is either in the works or something that is already in place. But if so, perhaps what needs to happen is the system might need to be tested from time to time, even just to let people know, hey guys, this is only a test. Please remember to be mindful of XYZ. And in the event of this is how we intend, one of the ways we intend to get the information out there. Because somebody is saying when a tsunami is triggered, the first instance is to get to higher ground. I think a lot of us know that. The question is, how do we even know that one coming to make the move? And again, this is things that I know they've been telling us. I know they've been planned. There's a plan in place. And I probably would have heard it before. But again, because it's information that we don't draw on regularly, it might slip us. Good morning, caller. You're live on Island T. What's up?
Hi. First, I didn't call before, but I was on the caller before. But I just wanted to share that as you're talking about it, I recall doing a disaster management course with Mr. Blanchett many years ago, and I think he had told us that if Kikem Jenny, I think Kikem Jenny is what may cause a tsunami to erupt, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think it takes about 20 minutes from where it is located down in past Grenada to get to us. So we have 20 minutes to get to higher ground, basically. So you have to think in terms of where is the highest ground closest to where you are at that given moment. Maybe they're going to sound some, I believe they would sound some sort of siren to let us know. So you have to have that in mind, as you have to move to somewhere high, right? I don't think we're going to, I do not know what sort of waves action we're going to get, but basically the evacuation points that you're seeing are leading you towards higher ground. So for instance, if I'm at the beach, I know that I need to head up Timothy Hill. That's probably the highest point that I could get to, make my legs make 6 feet and get up that hill, because there is a sign there that says tsunami evacuation or whatever. So you're supposed to think of where they are and know that you need to go uphill, okay? As fast as your little legs could take you.
All right.
And that's my input.
All right.
Take care. All right. Bye.
Take care. Thanks. Yeah, I think people watch enough movies where they know why. Run up a hill. Look here. I'm be saying that, but you know what? I take it back. Human nature is all of a sudden the sea start to pull back, and people are run down to go watch. People will run down to go watch. The fish them there flapping up on the sand. People going down and play with the fish. That's what's gonna happen. So I hear saying people know what to do, but the truth is no. So thank you, caller, for letting us know that the appropriate response is not to go play fast and go down and watch the water fall back on itself. But yeah, I think the idea, because of the nature of the disaster, meaning there's very little warning, very little time between whatever event sparks the disaster and when we feel its effects. That is the thing. People saying perhaps a siren, I don't think that exists. The reason being, if there was a siren system, we would have known about it because they would have had to be testing it regularly. You can't just leave like speakers and amplifiers or whatever just there and haven't used them for the last 15 years and then expect it to work. So we would have had to been doing regular tests. Maybe I don't know. Maybe that's something that we could implement, because that in itself might be a easy. Because the way you could do it is just like how the radio transmits signals. You have a specific frequency designated to towers or systems in different communities with sirens, and so that is specifically tuned into that frequency, and so once anything is broadcast across that frequency, it is then broadcast to all of those stations, right? So something like that might work. It isn't like you have to physically run wires to anything. So that's something that we could possibly look into. The only issue I have is that the idea generally is to keep people calm in those moments, and the message might be a little too nice. I think that sometimes we just fall short on the emergency messages. It'd be like something like, "This is not a drill. Please make your way to higher ground. There's an approaching natural disaster that could potentially affect your area. Please leave," and then tell you, leave all your goods and belongings, take only what is necessary, and all this. I know I know a couple people who we could hire to give them the right message. Like Chocolate. Tell Chocolate as soon as I come in and tell the people them to please get to higher ground. That message is going to be clear, concise, precise, and people don't know exactly what they need to do. No. The nice speaking lady, no. That's not going to work. Hey, are you hurricane coming? Hey, are you tsunami coming? Mine, tech, yeah. Okay. That's what they need to do. But alas, I could tell you if they do that, they ain't gonna, no, it ain't be too nice. That ain't gonna instill the proper response in people. I'm telling you, people laughing here. I'm laughing for. Y'all know it's true. Somebody's saying there's gonna be plenty bad word, but perhaps that's what you need. Perhaps this is not the time. This is not the time to be worried about offending people's sensibilities. Who knows? But yeah, that would be maybe one way of trying to get the word out. What we'll do, we'll probably try and invite someone from NEMA back. They've been here before, and telling us. Last time they came, I think they told us about the exercise that they had down in. It may have been the halfway tree area. In that particular zone, they did some disaster preparedness work there. But yeah, we'll probably have them come back and kind of discuss with us some of the plans that they have, and sensitize us again about what we should expect if there's some impending disaster. And also what our response should be. So yeah, guys, appreciate the suggestions. We're actually gonna take a short break, and then we're gonna come right back with more Island Tea right here on Win Media SKN. Guys, stick and stay.
All out. Hospitals Building and Nevis Centers is going all out for 3 days. This Thursday, 10th November, Friday, 11th November, and Saturday, 12th November, with 25% off store-wide on all discountable items. Yes, Hospitals Building and Nevis Centers are going all out with 25% off store-wide on all discountable items for 3 days only. Hospitals Building Center, Nevis Center is going all out for 3 days this weekend, starting this Thursday, 10th November, Friday, 11th November, and Saturday, 12th November. Go early and grab the deals before they're all out. All out. Don't miss it. Terms and conditions apply. See store for details.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib, it's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
Good morning, and welcome back to Island Tea right here on Win Media SKN. It is Friday, November 11th, and even though Jade has left me high and dry, I know she's not still lost at sea. She's actually back home, recovering from all the partying she did. But in the absence of my lovely co-host, I actually have some guests in the studio. I have some friends here from SKELEC. Good morning, guys. How are you guys doing?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, and before we even jump into it, I'd love if you could introduce yourselves to the lovely listeners and the viewers.
Okay, good morning, and we are actually from the Energy Unit within the Ministry of Public Infrastructure. I'm Bertil Brown, the Director of the Energy Unit.
Oh,
Yeah.
awesome. All right.
Yes, and I'm Dinasio Frank. I'm the Energy Officer in the Energy Unit.
Awesome. Well, guys, I know that there is a lot happening that really concerns what you guys are into. But before we even jump into exactly what some of the activities are and why these activities are happening, just tell us a bit about what is it that you guys do or are responsible for at the Energy Unit.
We are responsible for implementing the energy policy, the government policy, and within the confines of the existing energy legislations and regulations.
That sounded very, very, very nice, eh? But wait,
yes.
no, but we talk really plain, and I'll let me answer. I don't really understand big words.
Well, the policy in a nutshell speak about getting affordable energy.
Okay.
One of it is your electricity, the fuel for your vehicle, having access to it, and having it clean, which is renewable energy. And so we dedicate ourselves to meeting, to get programs going that meet these criteria.
Okay, awesome. I suspect that the energy unit isn't what one might term one of the sexy units. You guys tend to not get as much, let's say, fanfare, even though what you guys do obviously is quite important and affects pretty much every single person on the island.
That's true.
Yeah, I can say
but
that.
it's a very important unit.
All right, awesome. Well, you guys are here to speak specifically about, I think it's Energy Month. Am I correct?
Correct. Every year in November, CARICOM observe Energy Month. So all of the countries that are members of CARICOM observe it, including St. Kitts. And the purpose of Energy Month is to make the public aware of what is going on in the energy sector and to educate the public. So this year, it's being done under a theme, Our Future is Electric. And what this theme implies that it's best, our intention to move our energy infrastructure so that all of our electricity is generated from renewable sources. And then all of our energy end use would be electricity. And the two that you could think about immediately for St. Kitts are one, cooking. We cook at the present on a mixture of electricity, and some people use the LPG. Our goal is to move everybody to electricity. The other one, we use exclusively gas and diesel internal combustion engine for our transportation here. The goal is to move to electric vehicles.
Oh, wow. Okay, so even in those two instances, before we get directly into some of the activities, in those two instances, are there specific goals in terms of timelines that we would love to see this transition taking place?
It is not a short-term goal. It's
Right.
a long-term goal. And I could tell you it's a very challenging goal. So probably there will be times when we move forward and sometimes when we are stationary, and maybe even setbacks.
Mm-hmm. So I read an article this morning, and the article had it in 2,927. That's I think that's a bit stretching it. But is there even an idea in terms of estimates? For instance, maybe 2050 or 2060, where we might see this goal being realized?
With the cooking, that is much easier.
Okay.
But to do that, though, you have to increase the reliability of the electric grid. Because people will now become more dependent on it. And so that is something that has to be done before, but that could be done by 2040, per se.
Okay.
In terms of the electric vehicle, we do have some control over that, but it's to a large extent dictated by the developed countries who are producing these electric vehicles. And many of them have set a deadline when they would stop, produce, and import the internal combustion engines. I think the most important one for us would be Japan, where we get most of our vehicles from, and they have set a deadline for 2035.
Oh, wow. So by that time, they are expected or aiming to stop producing? Is it the production of...
Produce and import.
Oh, wow. Wow. I'm going to be honest, earlier this year, I traveled to the US and I drove a hybrid while I was there. And I don't work out my next vehicle is a hybrid, because I driving up and down the place, and I wondering when I'm going to have to go get some gas. And I said, well, I need one of these right home in SK. But yeah, I'm happy to hear that these are things that are in the works. And of course, these are long-term goals, and the transition, I sure, includes not just you guys, not just the providers of the energy sources, but also just the general public. So it's going to be a transition, I'm sure, that everyone's going to have to buy into. But this energy month and the theme, is this something that is local, regional, international?
It's more for regional. It's CARICOM, so
CARICOM,
all the CARICOM
okay.
states,
Okay.
CARICOM countries are participating.
Okay, nice. Well, what are some of the things that we could look forward to you guys doing, putting on, taking part in?
Okay, I'll start by pointing out some of the things that has already taken place.
Okay.
We had a church service at the Old Road Wesleyan Holiness Church on October the 30th, and the minister on Monday, October 31st, the minister gave an address to open the month. We joined with the Ministry of Tourism to have a beach cleanup at Majors Bay last Saturday.
Okay, nice.
And on Tuesday of this week, we had a workshop which was called Low Carbon Emission Workshop, complements the Republic of China and Taiwan, where the presenter gave a case study of the energy industry in Taiwan.
Okay.
We invited people involved in the energy industry, the two utilities, SKELEC and NEVLEC. We invited engineers. We invited our academic institutions, CFBC and AVEC, and the general public, and that was well received. And then just yesterday, we're having a primary school quiz competition, energy-related quiz competition, and we had the eliminations just yesterday. In the St. Kitts was divided into 3 zones, Bastia, East and West. In the West, we had the Ross Preparatory, Tyrrell Williams, Sandy Point, Deep Bay, and St. Paul's primaries. Tyrrell Williams emerged the winner from that. They will be going through to the finals.
Okay.
In the East, we had Kearn and Sadlers. Sadlers emerged the winner.
Big up.
And in Bastia, we had Dr. William Connor, Tucker Clark, the ICCS, and the Dean Glassford's primary school. The ICCS emerged the winner. We had a Nevis zone.
Okay.
We only had one applicant from the Nevis zone, that's the Ivor Walters primary, so they automatically went through to the finals. The finals is next week, Thursday.
Okay, and before you even move off of that, so this quiz, where is it going to be held, the finals, and is it open to the public?
Yes, it will be streamed. It will be on ZIZ and it will be streamed, but the physical venue is at the Credit Union Conference Room at Fort Lance.
Okay, nice.
Yes, to be specific, it will be the CUNO, the CUNO
conference room.
Yes.
Right, okay.
For the events we have coming up, we have a jingle competition. So that's one of our major activities for this month. We want to get an energy jingle. And the criteria is that you prepare a 1-minute jingle. And you can use, if you're a musician, you can use your own music, but it should be original music, your own original music.
Mm-hmm.
And the grand prize is $1,000. Deadline for that is the 18th. And we should have our results by there's going to be an online composition as well, an online portion where the best jingles will be on social media, and the public will get a chance to vote on their favorite. Okay. And then we'll have a winner by the 30th of this month. Tomorrow, there's going to be an interministerial funding. That's at the Carambola.
Okay.
So we should be very competitive.
You know it is.
Yeah. We will be on Freedom again. We're going to be on Freedom next week, Monday. And of course, the primary school finals is going to be next week. That is going to be on the 17th of November at 10 a.m. And of course, it's going to be live streamed.
Yeah, and you said live stream, but live stream on what particular platform? Is it ZIZ?
Yes, ZIZ.
ZIZ online? Okay,
yes.
Great.
Yes, and on the 18th, which is the day after, we're going to have an energy fair and a bulb drive. So the energy unit is going to be giving away bulbs at the energy fair. And there's going to be different institutions and organizations at the event. I'll let Mr. Brown go through which.
This is just some of the institutions that would have booths. It will be in Independence Square. The energy unit will have a booth. SKELEC would have a booth. NEVLEC from Nevis, they will be coming down and having a booth. We have Sol and Delta. We have a gentleman by the name of Simba Warner from Sandy Point, who is a solar enthusiast.
Okay.
He plans to have a booth and have a demonstration. The Clarence Fitzroy Bryant College would have a booth there. We're in discussion with AVEC, not finalized, but we hoping that they would have a booth. The Bureau of Standards would have a booth. The New Generation Engineering, you should be familiar with Nubian Greer, that's his engineering company. He would have a booth. We will be partnering with the Diabetes Association.
Okay.
They would be there for Diabetes Week, and they would be doing blood sugar tests. Tourism would have a booth, and the Youth Department would also have a booth. These are just some of them.
Right. All right. Awesome. And of course, Denisio, you mentioned one of the things I don't want you to skirt over it. You did mention that there's going to be opportunity for people to receive bulbs at the
Correct, yes.
at the fair.
Yes.
What time does that?
It starts at 9
Okay.
a.m.
Yeah, man. Straight after the show. See how. All right.
Okay, so following the energy fair, we're gonna, as Mr. Brown said, we're gonna collaborating with the Diabetes Association. So we're gonna join them on their walk, and that day is also the day that the CARICOM states will be having what they call a kilo walk.
Oh,
So it's gonna be like a regional, like walk marathon kind of thing.
Okay.
So each of them will be doing their own walk on that day. So we're gonna be joining with the Diabetes Association for ours.
And is this something that's open to the public?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
I think the Diabetes Association also has shirt packages on sale. So I highly recommend contributing to the cause.
All right. And is there some way that persons could get more information? Perhaps a Facebook page of the Diabetes Association?
I think so, yes.
Okay. All right. Awesome.
Okay, and the last week of activities, we're going to have a soccer size at the SKELEC parking lot.
Okay.
To keep healthy.
Right.
That's going to be at 4:30 p.m. at the SKELEC parking lot in Central Street. We also have a family feud scheduled for the 24th. It's going to be there's going to be 4 institutions participating. We are going to be one. The energy unit, the Ministry of Public Infrastructure, is going to be one, and SKELEC is also going to be one. So we're going to actually be competing against SKELEC,
Okay.
which is going to be very competitive. Let me tell you.
I could imagine. I could imagine.
Yes, and we're going to be on Totally for Kids on the 26th, which is the last Saturday in this month. And then the final event, we're going to be launching our website. So the Energy Unit is going to launch a website to give the public a lot more information on what we do and the projects that we have in the Federation and just general information about energy.
All right. Well, that I am also looking forward to because, again, as we mentioned before, sometime the unit, maybe you guys work so hard, people don't even recognize the important work that you guys are engaged in. So I love the idea of having a way for persons to really see and access information about what it is that the unit does. And that's going to be launched when you said?
Well, we're looking at the 30th of November
Okay.
at 10 a.m.
Okay. Well, to me, it's almost like it's every day something going on. Kind of energy, man. There's a lot happening.
Yes, there is.
All right.
There's also, before I finish, there's 2 competitions, regional competitions that are going on as well. There is a photo competition, so a photography competition, and a cinematography competition, so a short video competition, and they have some very attractive grand prizes. So I think the short video is like $2,000 US is a grand prize.
Okay. And and this is open to the general public.
Yes.
And for people for the member states.
Correct. Yes. And if you want more information, you can check the CARICOM Energy website, and they will have all the details on that. And you could also check their Instagram social media pages.
All right, guys. If you are involved in photography, cinematography, if you own an iPhone, then you have the ability to enter into this competition. Please go and check out the criteria and the requirements, and put in an entry. Who knows? You might just be successful in winning one of the you say attractive prizes.
Yeah.
So Yeah. Well, there are several key things I think you mentioned there. Off the top of my head, definitely the quiz, the primary school quiz competition, and the date for that is the
17th.
The 17th, guys. That's gonna be streamed on ZIZ, and of course, one of the other major events would of course be the fair that happens in the square, and the date for that is
18th.
The 18th, well, 17th, 18th, back to back, boom bam, with the energy unit. Any final words before we wrap up? Anyone you wanna shout out or any other information?
Just a few. You see the two of us. I think you mentioned the lot of activities, but we have a lot of help. The other persons who have volunteered to work with us. For example, the quiz yesterday, we had persons external to the ministry who hosted it.
Okay.
We have sponsors, the Republic of China and Taiwan and SKELEC. So I would like to acknowledge those persons and take the opportunity again to invite you to the fair, to tune into the quiz, and to participate in the 2 regional competitions if you're a creative person.
All right, man.
And if you need any extra information, any additional information about energy or anything like that, or even the events that we are having, you can contact the unit at 467-1449.
Awesome. Just do me a favor, repeat the number again.
467-1449.
And of course, in short order, you'd also be able to check out the website of the unit.
Yes, once that is launched, it will be available to the public.
All right, awesome. Well, I just want to commend you guys for the work that you guys do at the unit. Is it a big unit? Is there a team of like 500 people working? Stop playing. You serious?
Yes.
But okay, before we go, this does seem like a very important task. All right, and I do just hearing what it is that the unit is responsible for. It not only important, but it does seem like it entails quite a bit of work. Correct?
Yes.
Oh, so when I hear commending the energy unit, I know for sure the energy unit is under the sound of my voice.
Yes.
Hey, well, guys, big up yourself. Continue doing the good work that you guys are doing there. Well, perhaps we could even, reach out to you in the future to talk a bit more about what it is that you guys are doing, some of the plans that you guys have in place. And I do believe that part of what you guys are doing, and it's obvious that you guys recognize this as well, is, conversation and sensitization of the general public.
Correct, yes.
So it would be great if you guys could at some point hit us back up and, we could have conversations to do just that. All right. But thanks a lot for coming, man. I appreciate it so much.
And thanks for hosting us.
Oh,
yes.
For sure. My pleasure.
Okay.
All right, guys, we're going to take a short break and be right back with more Island Tea. We have more friends in the building, so stick and stay. Don't go anywhere.
Shirley is celebrating 70 years. Can you believe it? Everyone loves a Shirley biscuit, known for its rich, creamy taste, as well as the iconic house and flower design. We all know Shirley is the perfect on-the-go snack, and it's truly the Caribbean's favorite. Simply put, there's nothing quite like a Shirley biscuit. I can't imagine life without it. I too love my Shirley.
It's the Caribbean flavor, Shirley. When the star them there, we a top man, we take charge. Magnum we drink and we a shell down bars. Blast like a star with some Galapagos. Overdo it, we take it too far. Take charge, take charge.
We a hot gal, we set the trend. Magnum we drink for the top man then. Wine with the style, no stop from spin. Hot blend, back bend, and take charge, take charge.
Magnum tonic wine for the real star them. Take charge, take charge. Must be 18 or older, drink responsibly.
Hey guys, welcome back to Island Tea right here on Win Media SKN. It's Friday. We actually, unfortunately, getting on to the end of the show, but we're going to end it on a high note today because in the studio, I have two gentlemen who are here to talk a bit about some upcoming awesomeness. Right? In studio, well, in studio we have for sure. You know what? I'm gonna let them introduce themselves because I met one of these gentlemen not too long ago, and one of them I've had a lot of respect for his musicianship and his gift. But I'll let them introduce themselves.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, St. Kitts. My name is Blessed, and I play the saxophone.
Oh, yeah.
With me is...
I am Mario Phillip, and I'm happy to be here on Island Tea. I am fortunate enough to play only one instrument, that's my voice, so I bang my mouth.
Well, I'll tell you something. That's one of the most overlooked instruments.
I know, right?
I'm telling you. But guys, a pleasure for you to be here. And let's first talk about you, Blessed. You did mention that you're instrumentalist, particularly the saxophone.
Yeah.
And I have heard you play. I've played with you before.
Yeah.
All right.
And I must say, what you do is akin to a gift. I would say.
That's high praise coming from you.
Man, it's genuine, right? But where did this journey start for you, in terms of music, and in particular, the saxophone?
Well, my older brother says to tell everybody that he taught me, but that's not true. I grew up in a house where nobody played any instrument, by the way, but my parents just loved music. So my dad would, who was a doctor before he passed, he would always play music around the house. So.
And this is in McKnight?
No, this is back in Nigeria.
Oh. I've guessed.
So this is all Nigeria.
Just so we can know.
I figured you were able to tell from the accent. This is not McKnight.
I think people may have picked up, like, you may not have spent all your years here.
Okay, yeah. So, back in Nigeria, my dad used to always play music around the house. So I got to, I could memorize. I had memorized a whole lot of concerts. I could hum back for you what the bass line is playing, and I didn't know what I was doing.
Right. But the question though, this is a serious question.
Yeah.
What type of music you was listening to? Who was some of the
Oh, it's a lot. It's a whole lot. So there was no streamlined music in my house. So my dad is all for classical. My mom is all for gospel. And we had different people coming around the house. I had uncles who loved Bob Marley and Lucky Dube. They'll have this. They used to sell these CDs then that had like 1,000 and something tracks.
Right.
Yeah.
Compilations.
So it had from Peter Tosh to the Wailers. And I didn't know who these people were. Then we had some aunties. I had an auntie who loved Celine Dion. I had people who, then at some point I found jazz music. My older brother loved rap music. My older sister loved like John Legend and like soul music. Just a whole lot of everything.
So in your house you were exposed to music from all types of genres, and okay, nice.
Yeah.
So you started, like, of course, taking this music in, and you would be able to hum back, memorize not only just the lyrics but even the different musical parts. You were saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then I didn't play any instrument, by the way. It was a year to when I was finishing high school. A friend of mine who I didn't want to even play, as a matter of fact. A friend of mine who wanted to learn an instrument, but he stuttered. It's a funny story. He had a stuttering speech. So they announced in church that if you want to learn an instrument, just wait behind and join the orchestra. So because he had this stuttering speech, he was like, "Oh, Blessed, could you help me do the talking?" So I went there after church service to the pastor who was in charge of the church orchestra. And in my bid to say, my friend wants to learn an instrument, because the man was very forceful. I didn't know when I said, both of us want to learn an instrument. So he was like, "Oh, come on Saturday." And I came on Saturday, and the first time I heard an orchestra play in front of me, had the tuba, had the euphonium, French horn, everything play in front of me. Like the hair on my body stood up. And I was like, whatever they're doing, I want to do that.
Right.
So they now were like, "Okay, start you on a clarinet." I wanted to play a violin because I thought wind instrument to make your cheeks puffy, which is not true. I later found that. So, but they're like, "Oh, just start on the clarinet." I started on the clarinet, and later went to the saxophone. And a friend of mine eventually went to join the army and didn't play anymore. And some years later, he came back to my city and saw me on billboards everywhere. Like, "Blessed, you stole my drum."
Imagine that. Sometimes life takes us down some unexpected paths. Eh?
I know, right? But I like to think that you don't choose music, music chooses you. It was always in me. I just needed an outlet to express what was already here. Yeah.
All right. So you learned basically music in church. So you mentioned that you started on the clarinet. So what other instruments you would have played over the years?
So just the clarinet and the saxophone. For some very odd reasons, I have friends who are gifted pianists, bass guitarists, and they're either too busy or they'll be like, "Oh, Blessed, you're already good on this one. Don't bother switching." I really wish I could play bass. I wish I could play keyboard. Anything that would afford me ability to sing and play at the same time. But with the saxophone, it's in your mouth and
it's a little. You could just do like Hugh. You could do like Hugh and just play and sing in between.
Oh, Hugh Masakela.
Yeah. There's this other guy. I see him. He does like gospel.
Nathaniel Bassi.
Yeah, he plays the trumpet.
He was a fantastic jazz trumpeter until he started singing, and people feel like he can't play, but no, he's.
Yeah. I've seen some videos, but so you started playing in church, and so you played in the church orchestra.
Yeah.
What was the next like milestone in your musical journey, you would say?
So, it was fine. Okay, you're playing the orchestra and you're playing only hymns. Then the church instrumentalists were the ones who were playing like the other songs in church. They would play the gospel songs and I wanted to. They could improvise and I couldn't. I was like, whatever they're doing, I want to be able to do. So I became friends with them, and so they told me, there was this jazz club. There's this club they went to like on Wednesday nights. It was called the Hexagon, and just all of this is back home in Nigeria.
Right.
And they were very supportive. They came talk to my parents, to take me along.
Because at this time you're about what age?
Like 16.
Okay. In the jazz club at 69, too bad.
Not at all.
So I went there, and I would see. I could play only one number. I think it was like by Kenny G. So, but because I was very young looking, and I would play it, and there's this thing in Nigeria where if you do something very well, people come throw money at you. Right. It's called spraying. And so people come spray money at me because I think it was just fascinating that a very innocent young looking boy could do something. So when I grew out of that innocence, I had to now really learn to play. So with all those musicians around me, I would learn. Some of them who would be very heavy on like bossa nova and all that Latin music. I had to take it in and learn about artists, musicians like Paquito de Rivera, Arturo Sandoval, and all these people. Some people who were heavy on West Indian music, people who were heavy on hip hop, who were heavy on gospel. I had to, in order to play with different bands, I had to learn all these things. So after university, I started playing with different bands, played with Afrobeat artists, played with gospel artists, played with all this, and sort of built my musicianship. Right.
Because I know that level of access to different genres really helps to inform your musicianship, right?
You're not boxed in.
Right.
Like if you get an R&B song, you can infuse one or two bebop lines, and it kind of wakes up the song.
I mean, if we say music is a language, then of course all these genres you listening to all these genres, it expands your vocabulary.
True, yeah.
So you have all these words that you could now add to when you're speaking. That's the way I kind of look at it.
Yeah.
And I think being in an environment where you had access to people in these different spaces and moving around and moving about, that really would have, of course, informed your own musical expression. But while this is all happening, what is the response from your family?
Okay, Nigeria is very big on education, so you can do anything you want, but you have to go to school.
Right.
And even I too, because of my parental influence, my dad is a doctor, my mom's a nurse, so as musical I am, I'm also very medical as well. I was talking to him outside of how I always felt like an outlier. So when I'm so what brought me to St. Kitts, by the way, I don't know if you're getting to that question, was medical school. I am still in medical school, by the way. So but I noticed when I'm around the academics, I'm the outlier because you're too artistic to be
right.
And when you're amongst the artists, you're very academic to be. So I've always felt like that. Yeah. So having all that experience and kind of like, so when my parents would see that, okay, I didn't study music. I studied biochemistry before, now medicine.
Okay.
So when they see that you're still pursuing your goals and your visions, and my parents were not one to say, oh, don't go play music, don't go do this, no. As long as it's something you feel very drawn to and it's productive, they will give you 105% support.
All right, lovely. I like to hear that because I think one of the things that is challenging for a lot of persons who have musical aspirations here is that lack of support. I mean, I was lucky enough to have parents who supported me in what I wanted to do, but I see it so many times, and I get the calls. I get the calls like, somebody tell me talk to you because my son in this music thing and me ain't about that, I ain't too sure about that.
Oh, there was this way I sort of like gamed the system as a young boy growing up. So when I would get calls from like these big pastors, let's say a TD Jakes equivalent in Nigeria, and when they want my number to come play at their church, I wouldn't give them my phone number. I give them my dad's phone number.
Wow.
So when they call, they're like, "Oh, this is Pastor so and so." You know how your parents don't go in this reverential mood. Oh, that's really.
Right.
Then they go like, "Oh, we want your son to come play this." Oh my, which of them? Blessed. So it sort of like gave me that bragging right at home. That it had that.
Right.
The way your parents look at you change.
Yeah,
definitely. They had a certain level of respect there.
Well, I mean, the thing is, it happens a lot in all across the board. When you get that validation from persons outside, sometimes it causes the people close to you to have to step back as well and look at it.
And they're like, oh, this dude I see every morning. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So you then came to St. Kitts, and how long have you been here now?
Been here since 2018.
Okay, since 2018, and you came, of course, to pursue your studies in medicine.
Yeah.
All right, how's that been going?
It's been going good.
Yeah.
Highs and lows. Medicine will stretch you. I don't care if you're Einstein. It will stretch you. It will stretch you to be in days of down of like, okay, I'm not doing this anymore. This time my younger brother, he was in university back at home, and he called me to say he's giving up, he's not doing this anymore. He doesn't know why he doesn't understand what is my drive to keep continuing. My drive for continuing is because I literally can't afford to give up, because giving up would mean getting a flight ticket. And flight ticket at the time was, even till now, very expensive.
Very expensive, yeah.
So if it was $5 to get a plane ticket back to Nigeria, I would have given up at the time. So I did a pact with him. If I don't give up, you don't give up.
Right.
And we've held both of each other's end of the bargain.
All right. Well, I love to hear that. And you have been playing music, obviously, since you've been here. What's it been like kind of integrating into the music scene here in St. Kitts? Of course, it's definitely a bit different to Nigeria, but what has it been like just you integrating into the scene here?
I find that musicians around the world are somewhat part of the same tribe. As long as, like you said, it's a language. When you're in Japan and you find somebody speaking your language, you will turn. I'm like, who's that?
Right.
So I don't care where you are in the world. If somebody holds a piano and plays something really good, even if you don't play that instrument, you understand that language and you will turn. And I didn't think for a second that it was going to be a problem integrating, and I was right. The musicians have been very open to me. And I like the fact that it's like musical tourism to a certain degree, learning about calypso. I didn't know it was like a big thing here.
Well, bro, I saw that you are playing calypso. I was like, I was gonna ask you about how you feel about that, because that is something. This is a new experience for you, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
So I'm just soaking it all in, and this person's playing this, person's playing that. Like, okay, so how does this? To me, it is education.
Right.
I was like, okay, how does this genre of music work? How does soca work? How does this work? So when I want to now make music, I can now pick influences from here and here and here and here.
Yeah, definitely.
They say a good musician should be a good sponge. You should be able to.
Yeah, definitely agree with that. And speaking about playing, I know that you have done some showcases, some concerts over your time here, and you have one that is coming up tonight, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
All right, so tell us a bit about what's happening tonight.
Okay. Tonight by 7 p.m. no African time. I'm told here it's called Kitishan time. Black people are black people anywhere in the world. So it's by 7 p.m. It's called Heart and Soul, the therapy. So it's sort of like third in a concert series. We had 2 last year. One was a pre-concert. Then we had one in December. Well, that was in November. Then one had in December. That was a Christmas concert.
Right.
That's where we had the famous 12 days of COVID.
Yeah.
And we're having another one tonight by 7 p.m. at Antioch Baptist Church.
Okay.
Seating is at 6:30.
Yes. Okay. I think that's a proper way to.
Yeah.
So Mario, you said that the people are asked to be seated by 6:30 or to be.
Yeah, seating is at 6:30.
Okay.
So you arrive at 6:30. We have a seat for you. You definitely can't miss it. And you have to be early. I was talking with Blessed earlier, and he was telling me, because growing up with Blessed in Delta State, I didn't know he would be a big star. I am kidding. I live on Nevis, but he's my brother from Africa. And so because I lived on Nevis and everything that I had going on, I wasn't able to be at the concert last year.
Oh no, you missed a great one.
So of course, yes, I know, and we know the famous 12 days of COVID. But Blessed was telling me all the extra stuff that people missed because they arrived late.
Oh,
right, the awesomeness, all of the anticipation and videography, that would have introduced the 12 days of COVID and the whole production. People miss that. So I'm like, no, you can't miss it this year. This year you have to be there early. Seating is at 6:30.
Yeah.
It's Heart and Soul.
Yeah,
and you can therapy. So
you can also get tickets at the gate. It's $30 easy, $30.
Yeah, only $30, and it's Heart and Soul, the therapy. You can't be late for a doctor's appointment. You can't be late for therapy.
I never thought of it like that. But that's genius.
You gotta be on time. Yeah.
But I mean, persons who would have experienced the previous presentations that you would have done, and they would know that this is something to look forward to, something you really should not miss.
Yeah.
Whether you are a fan of music, whether you're a fan of the saxophone as an instrument, or whether you're just a fan of going out and having a good time with family, with friends, just a positive environment. This is something that I'm sure you guys would definitely enjoy. But for persons who may not have been at any of the previous ones, what could they expect?
Okay, expect, like you said, awesomeness, and it's not just a time to just come hear music, because yes, there is going to be music, but there's going to be healing. There's going to be heart-to-heart talks. We're going to address really, really, really personal topics. The concert seeks to do 3 things. I call it the 3 E's: educate, entertain, and edify. So whether some people called me and told me, oh, we're not necessarily a fan of saxophone. Yeah, so everybody has something for them there. I'm not just going to be playing saxophone all through. If it was a jazz concert, then I understand. But no, it's not. It's time for family. It's time for everybody to come, and it's going to be spiritual uplifting. There's going to be healing. There's going to be all lot of that, and awesomeness too. All of this is going to happen.
Yeah, top class awesomeness.
Awesomeness as well.
Along with the 3 E's, you also have the 3 aspects of theater. You have singing, you have singing and music, but you also have drama and you have dance.
Right.
So it's the full package. It's a whole production. Calling it a concert kind of limits it. Yeah,
right.
And I must say, as in that I seeing the production, seeing the awesomeness at rehearsal, right? And I was like, okay, my awesome cup was full. I was like, I can't take any more of this. I'm not even going to show up tomorrow. But you know why I'm showing? I remember I'm the host, so I have to be there. I was like, this is blowing my mind. So I'm telling you, you have to be there. And it's the therapy. So as Blessed said, it is, your heart would be soothed. It's called Heart and Soul. So your heart would be soothed by music. Coming out of the pandemic, all the stresses we've had. And we have, the pandemic has exacerbated a lot of things in our society. We have an increase in domestic violence. There's an increase in mental illness. And, all its effects and manifestations.
Some that
people
we don't
need
even
help.
recognize.
Yeah, people
Suicide
don't
rate
recognize
has
it.
gone high too.
Yes, and so we can get that remedy right through music, and it's here tonight at Antioch Baptist, seating at 6:30.
And you're telling me, Blessed, that it's only $30.
It's only $30.
Only.
Wow.
Only.
And you can get your tickets at the door.
Yeah, you can.
Right. Awesome. Well, I mean, for sure, I'm looking forward to it. I know that once people recognize, and again, this is based off not only what people know you're capable of, but what you've actually displayed in previous presentations. People are excited and looking forward to whatever it is that's going to be on full display tonight. Is there any one else who we may recognize who may be a part of the show?
Yeah, there's going to be Blestina is going to be there.
Big up Blestina.
Yeah.
Hold on there. Before you even continue, Blestina is supposed to come on the show,
Yeah, she has a new record
a new
out.
song. She has a new song.
Freedom.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna hear it.
I message her now. Continue.
Blestina is gonna be there. M1 Omari is gonna be there.
Boom bam.
Yeah.
All right, so we have some awesome vocalists that we know are going to be there. Of course, awesome musicianship, and we're already getting hints of other vocal talents that are gonna be on display.
They're not paying me to sing, so. But who knows? Maybe I'll be so moved by the music. But I'll be there. I'm the host, so I'll be there to welcome you when you step through the doors of Antioch Baptist, and we're gonna have a great time. I'll see to that. I'm blessed would ensure it.
All right, guys, and of course we're stressing on the time. You don't want to miss.
Heart and Soul.
Heart and Soul this evening. Therapy. And that's at Antioch Baptist.
Yes.
And it's at 6:30, guys, is when we expected to be there. And I'm really encouraging you guys to go out, have a nice time. It's Friday night. Take the family. Take someone who you're close to, a friend, spouse. This is a nice way to spend your Friday evening. Relax, be entertained, be edified, be educated.
Yes.
All right. Any final words? Perhaps anyone who you want to thank for the support or contributions, etc.
Oh, I want to thank you. Like they say in Kitishan parlance, big up the man them. Thank you for this opportunity to come here and share and talk to the people. I really do appreciate it.
Oh man, but for sure, it's a pleasure.
And I can't jam with you again.
Yeah, man, we got to link up. We got to link up. We got some stuff in the horizon that I'm gonna be talking to you about. So definitely, that's gonna happen. But Mario, Blessed, and we have some people on the live that are also bigging you guys up. So definitely, I'm sure they're gonna be there tonight. But thank you guys so much. I'm gonna let you guys out.
Okay.
I'm gonna let you guys out. I'm gonna put you guys on full blast. Like these guys were here before me this morning. So I got here this morning and they were here already. So I'm telling you guys, we're really excited about being on Island T.
You see, as I say, Blessed is my brother. I know him more. So he is the most disciplined musician that I have known, and I've known some musicians that run me up a wall. Yeah?
Well, I don't want to be part of the stereotype. They say, oh, musicians come late. There was this musician in the States that said that the life of a musician is hurry up and wait. So, and I know as a disciplined, I was taught growing up as a disciplined musician, you should, sometimes what makes you get gigs is not that you're skillful, because being skillful is baseline.
Bro.
Don't come to practice and start. Now it's passion in me talking. And start song.
Yes, so that I know Blessed, and even though I wasn't able to come to last year's production, he has performed numerous times that I've seen, and he is the most disciplined musician. He works with a spirit of excellence. He does everything to the best of his ability, even dreaming up, having the vision for these productions. I'm like, wow, because you could see excellence throughout, and so that's why you can't miss it. You can't be late, because he has put together something awesome and amazing, for us tonight.
Well, I am excited, guys, and I'm sure the persons listening and viewing are also excited. I know some people trying to figure out what to do tonight. That question has been answered. Head over to the Antioch Baptist Church tonight at 6:30 and prepare to just be blessed by Blessed. Alright.
No pun intended.
But guys, I appreciate you again. Thank you so much for coming, and looking forward to the event and also hearing all the great reviews about what took place tonight.
Thank you very much.
Definitely.
Alright, guys. Thanks. Well, guys, time is actually fast spent. We're gonna have to wrap up in a minute now. It is the weekend. We know what we're doing tonight. Obviously, we're heading over to Antioch Baptist Church and listening to some experiencing on what's happening at Blessed's concert. And I'm really excited about that. I'm going to tell you, because the talent that I know is going to be on display is, for sure going to be great. It's going to be great. But alas, I have to leave, I have to go, I have to disembark. I'm asking that everyone remain safe over the weekend. Spend some time with your loved ones, guys. Last week, I would have encouraged people to go out and just check on the elderly in your neighborhoods, the persons who maybe even just living by themselves, and just kind of making sure that everyone is okay in around your communities. And I have spoken to some people who told me that, hey, after they said that, I went and checked. Well, one particular person told me that they went and checked somebody, and they were so happy that they did, because they were able to help the person prepare for the rain. At that time, we didn't even know how much rain was gonna fall. Well, for me, I could tell you, I had no idea what was gonna take place, and wow. But please, this week, just spend some time with your loved ones. Tell people who you care about that you care about them. Sometimes we take it for granted or believe, oh, they know. So take the opportunity this weekend to reach out to your loved ones. Let them know that you care. Let them know that you appreciate what it is that they do for you. And get some rest. Get some rest, guys. I mean, I need some. I don't know if I can get it. I might be a bit hypocritical, but I'll try. Maybe Sunday afternoon. There ain't nothing that hits sweet like a Sunday afternoon nappy. You eat your Sunday lunch, and you pass out. Ain't much that feel better. Ain't very few feelings that could top that one. But appreciate you whether you joined me on YouTube, whether you joined me on Facebook, or one of the other digital media platforms. I appreciate you big time for being a part of what it is that we do here. If you're listening on your radio, 98.9 FM, big up yourself. Thank you so much for being a part. To the persons that called in this morning, thank you for being a part. All the persons who comment, sorry, I'm reading the comments and seeing clipping. Big up yourself. Of course, before we go, I have to wish Witty Kitty happy birthday again. One of the biggest sippers there is. Enjoy your day today to the max. But guys, I gotta leave. I gotta go. I gotta disappear. And so before I go, quick reminder to learn from the losses of others. You don't have to repeat all the mistakes that everyone makes. Also, guys, remember to spend more time living your content than posting it. Instead of watching the Blessed show tonight through your phone, perhaps just sit and take it in. Everything don't have to go on your timeline. And we got to get over that too. We got to get over this belief that if it isn't on the timeline, it didn't happen. But anyway, that's for next week. I'll give you all a rant on that. And also, guys, most importantly, please remember, you can't be everybody's cup of tea because you is not a mug. See you guys on Monday.